studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hey now.
Hello, friends.
What's going on, Kat?
Oh, same old, really. Yourself?
I had a hell of a weekend. I don't know if I told the pod listeners, but I was looking forward to a nice, quiet, chill weekend. And Saturday was great. It was beautiful outside. I was laying by the pool for a bit. I got a lot of stuff done around the house. And I wanted to continue that on Sunday and have 2 full days off. And then that call came that so many men before me have received from the in-laws who needed some work done around their house. So I was installing light fixtures and such yesterday.
How did they go? Was that as hardcore as you thought it was going to be? Did it take up a lot of your time and energy?
I mean, they're old. They're not going to hear this podcast, so I'll tell you the truth. They, no, it wasn't hard. But did I make a big deal of it? Yeah, because I needed them to know that, this is crazy how much work I'm doing, even though it took me like 5 minutes to change 3 fixtures. It was easy peasy. But that's how I get things like stuffed eggplant and pasta to go.
I was going to say, they fed you for sure.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah, do you need a lasagna? Yeah, you're fucking right I do. Put it in the car. Let's go. So anyway, I got home from that, and I was a little spent from the whole 5-10 minutes worth of labor that I did that afternoon. Probably tired from the pasta. And I happened to look up. Did you see the raccoon on my Instagram feed?
First of all, it's so bad that it's so sad, actually, that things that are such a menace are so adorable, because the first thing I thought was, wow, that's cute.
Mm-hmm. If raccoons could stop being such little pricks, they would be amazing pets. Look at it, like having a little panda bear running around your house.
That's the thing, right? If they didn't scratch everything and want to eat everything and claw at everything and invade everything, other than that, they're pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I've got this enclosure off the side of my house, and it leads out to the pool. And it's a wooden structure. It's nice, a little bit of shelter. I've got my barbecue in there and things like that. This raccoon climbed up one of the pillars and sort of started chilling up on the top beam. And I thought, well, listen here, my friend, you can't stay here. You've got to go. And I tried to reason with it. I was a little high. And I'm like, listen here, dude.
Did it talk back?
I said to him, listen, I don't know if you knew this when you climbed up here, but this is a pack-in household. And I could really take care of you in a lot of different ways, and I'd really like to not do that. So you get down and scoot.
Get.
Carry on with whatever it is you normally do as a raccoon. And it didn't go. So girlfriend, rather than help me, gets out her phone so she can record, because she figures this is probably going to be hilarious and a raccoon is going to jump off of a beam on my head. I decided I was going to shoot it, but I was going to use the hose.
Okay. Does that work usually?
The hose? Oh, I don't know. Who likes getting hit with cold water?
That's I would feel like that's a good first step, though. I think that's a good first step.
Yeah, I think probably the first 30 seconds of hose water were nice and warm, actually. I really just gave it a shower because the hose was sitting outside. Eventually, the raccoon, despite all of my efforts, did go away on its own. But everybody who messaged me said, he'll be back. That raccoon's coming back.
That's the thing with raccoons. I hear that about them.
What do I do with this thing now at this point?
Yeah.
Like, I really, really, really don't want to do it. It is cute as a button. I don't want to have to shoot this raccoon, but I'm prepared to shoot it.
Okay, before we reach drastic conclusions on how you could get rid of this.
Are you suggesting there's steps?
There's other things.
Between leaving it and it killing it?
Correct. Let's try a couple other things. So I've heard, and I haven't tried it, okay? I've never had a raccoon. Let me knock on something. I've never had a raccoon problem, okay? Mm-hmm. I've heard music, loud noises of any kind, but music is probably preferential for your own earballs. Earballs. Earballs.
I like that.
Eardrums. And spotlight. So if you have you've got to have portable, we're in radio, you probably have like portable speaker, portable lights, the whole nine, something like that.
Well, from all the years that I was also a DJ. Yeah,
You've
I've got like a full-blown setup.
Okay, so they say blast loud music and make sure there's light though, bright light, so that it's a little bit, or flashing lights best apparently. So if you got like one of those disco lights, I've got one if you need to borrow it. I bring that with me to hotels sometimes.
Oh, why does that not surprise me? Yeah. Why do you have a disco light?
It's fun when you go with friends like away. When I bring it to Vegas every time, because then you're having like a little pre-drink, hang out, having the mood lighting is important.
You got a little going while you're doing that?
Exactly.
Right. So like you and your husband dancing around when you're getting ready to go out for dinner in Vegas?
We've done it. Yeah, we've done it.
Wow.
Sure. Yeah.
Why don't you have a reality show yet? I don't understand.
I don't know if you're ready for it.
I don't know if I am either. It'd be somewhere between like Dance Moms meets meets, it would be crazy.
It would be a very bipolar show. It would be like at times very boring and dry. And then other times like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would try that first because a lot of people say that. Coyote urine?
Coyote urine.
Coyote urine
I've
is
heard
another
that.
one.
Yeah.
Have you tried that? Have you bought that? It's weird to me to buy pee.
Yeah.
Like, can I just say like asking for pee of any kind? That's a weird thing. But you could go to a wildlife center or camping place and they sell coyote pee, I guess. Is this normal, by the way? Do they keep this like in the middle of an aisle somewhere? Or is this like behind the counter kind of deal?
Hunting stores sell a lot of
Hunting
coyote
stores.
pee.
Okay, so go to a hunting store and get that
Yeah.
before you shoot the thing. So you could try that. Instead of spraying with a hose, spray it with urine. Spray the area with urine anyway. Or maybe your whole property. Like, fuck it. You might as well just go around the outskirts of your property and spray coyote pee, okay? Let's try
Sure.
that.
Why not?
What was the other one? There's a couple more.
Critter Ritter apparently
Critter
works
Ritter.
too.
Does it really work? Okay, can I just say I thought that was just marketing?
I thought it was too.
Okay, but if people say it works, fine. So there's a few things you could try.
I appreciate anything that works. Like they've got Weed Killer, for example, that doesn't seem to kill a lot of weeds. Will Critter Ritter really rid you of a critter? I don't know.
I don't know about that either. That's why I'm skeptical on that shit. Like I'd rather go coyote pee than anything else really that's marketed that way, you know?
Well, I will keep you guys updated. If it comes back, then we're going to have to talk drastic measures, and I'll try and slip a pod in between when I discover it's back and when I do whatever I'm going to do about it. But if this goes horribly sideways, we did not have this conversation, and I will delete this episode if it comes up as evidence in the court case.
Okay.
All right. We have a couple of different things. Number one, so many people reached out about Friday's pod. Thank you, everybody. It was great to have Dave back on.
You know, that was so much fun. I got a really great message from someone who just said something about feeling like they were in the room with us while we're recording. And that's like the best compliment that we could ever receive,
Totally.
really. Just feeling like, hey, my friend's back again, that being Dave who joined us, and our friends are all together in a room again and we could chat. You know, and I thought then this was someone who replies to us, like during the podcast, will speak back and be like, Scott, that's ridiculous. You know, or like, come on, Kat. You know, and they're like, I fully admit that I talk to you guys while I'm just listening to the pod. I love that. Again, that's like the best compliment we can hear.
We have a new radio show to tell you guys about, but it's new-ish. Ish. So maybe we should do the history. Maybe you're a long time or a new After 9 listener and somebody recommended, hey, check out After 9, and you did. Thank you. So Kat and I used to be on a radio station in Toronto called Z103. And then we went to work for a company called Chorus Entertainment, which is where we still work. And we do 91.5 The Beat in the morning, and simultaneously we're on Energy 95.3. So on Energy, our goal is to serve Niagara, Hamilton, Brantford, Burlington, Halton. That's that area. In Kitchener, 91.5 The Beat, we're Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, Guelph, and all the surrounding areas. But you can also hear us, a different version of the Scott and Kat morning show. You can hear that in the afternoon. And if you're in London and surrounding areas, 3 till 6 p.m. on 103.1 Fresh Radio. Now we have another drive home show. Starting today, you can hear Kat and I on Fresh 93.1 FM Barrie and Simcoe County. We've been on Fresh for like a year and a half. It's just really weird times.
We've bounced around a little bit there. We started off in the evening, but our buddy Mr. D had this great show, which is on many, many stations. And because of that, we were like, no worries, bud. We're going to come on after you. But then we realized, wow, that's late. We start at 10 o'clock. That's ridiculous. So really, we've cleared up everything. We figured it out. And now being on in the afternoon and being a part of the drive home in Barrie and area is awesome. So I know with that news, some of you who listen to us or stream us, I should say, that are in the Barrie area that listen to the podcast, just so you know, you can get us on old OG terrestrial in the afternoon if you want. Now, you can, of course, still stream us and take us with you. We're on the iHeartRadio app now. All the core stations are. So you could check that out. Eventually, our podcast will hit that platform too. But hey, wherever you're listening here, it's working. So you can just stick with that too.
They are taking their time getting the podcasts on iHeart as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that has to happen, but we promise we'll let you know as soon as it is. So there's all in one place. So you can listen to the Scott and Kat show. You can hear the podcast all in one app. That's kind of our... we're looking at it. It's happening, but it's just down the road a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Coming up at the end of this episode, you can hear missed connections from today's radio show. A couple things I want to play for you before we talk about interest rates and before we talk about this thing at Live Nation. I truly don't understand why this is not a massive, massive deal. We now know, sadly, they are postponing the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Oh, Mike Tyson's not ready. Health issues.
The ulcer turned out to be more, okay? Let's face it. Was it just an ulcer?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have ulcers and go to work.
Yeah,
so
I know.
I don't know about this.
I know.
Here is Jake Paul's response to the news that Mike Tyson is postponing that fight.
Obviously, devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event, the whole undercard. Opportunity has been ripped from all of us, but I do value Mike's health first and foremost. Love that guy. I have so much respect for him, and I want Mike to be healthy. And he says he still is going to knock me out, and I bought myself some time. But Mike, if you want to do this, like you said, behind closed doors, behind the scenes, you said you want to do this in Q4. You just need a little bit of time. So I'm ready whenever you are. This is too big of an opportunity. I think this fight's going to change the world.
Jake Paul's real humble about this. He's given off vibes like, I hope he knocks me out so I can ask him for an autograph of the picture. Yeah. He's a super fan.
It's about making money too. Let's be honest. So obviously with that post, do you think that they'll try to put something else in its place? Because everyone was talking about that as the fight. Was that Netflix?
It is Netflix.
Yeah. So, I mean, would Netflix attempt to get something else in its place since they had some people be like, yeah, all pumped up about it? I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder too. I really don't know. Either way, when it does happen, it'll be great, and I have no doubt they're gonna find some other fighters and make a big deal out of it. It'll be a full card, I would think. Another thing I want to play for you: Harrison Butker is a kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he made headlines, and we didn't even really talk about it because, frankly, I don't know if people are going to want to hear what I have to say about it. But I thought he was perfectly entitled to his opinion, and I think there's people out there who that message resonated with. He wasn't trying to force people, or women in particular, into staying home and being basically just Pez dispensers for children.
It was just a weird place to do it. That's all. For me, it wasn't even about the message. It was about why there?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of weird stuff comes up at commencement speeches. I think really these are people that don't get asked to make speeches very often. We get asked to make speeches all the time.
I think that is his last speech.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
And you figure, well, somebody's asking me to do it, so I'm going to shoot my shot and say what I want to say. Well, Harrison Butker was defended by his teammates, and he is a family guy, and him and his wife have got a routine that works great for them, and she's a stay-at-home mom and raises their kids, and then that's fine for them. Well, Katy Perry turned around Harrison Butker's comments at that commencement speech and decided to turn it into something else. Give this a listen. It's Katie's edited version of Harrison's speech.
For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? I would venture to guess the women here today are going to lead successful careers in the world. I say all of this to you because I have seen it firsthand, how much happier someone can be supporting women and not saying that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. The road ahead is bright. Things are changing, society is shifting, and people young and old are embracing diversity, equity, and inclusion. With that said, I want to say happy Pride Month to all of you, and congratulations, class of 2024.
Katie learned how to do a little audio editing.
Was it really her?
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Katy Perry turned his speech into a speech of support for women and LGBTQ plus rights. That's a pretty extreme edit. I don't know how much Katie would like it if people started rearranging her speeches and past comments and music, but for whatever reason, she wanted to do it. I know not everybody liked the Harrison Butker speech. I didn't necessarily like all of it either, but I do respect the fact that he had a right to say what he said, and there are people out there that actually agree with him quite a bit and that think that that would be an interesting life path, despite the fact that you're at a commencement speech and presumably thinking about your future in the workforce.
It's just so funny to me, too, that people are bringing up just people in his life, like his mother, who's a physicist. His mother was not a homemaker. That wasn't her full-time job, clearly. And she went to a lot of schooling to get to where she was, and then he still says this. So it weirds some people out in that way. I understand if personally that's how you feel. because everyone could feel differently, for sure.
Yeah. We didn't, also because Dave was here on Friday, we didn't even get a chance to talk about the fact that Trump has been found guilty on 34 counts.
Oh, yeah.
I will, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen here because, there was some anecdotal evidence that there were some people that were on the fence. They don't like Joe Biden, but they also don't really like Donald Trump. And they were probably going to vote for Trump because they like him more than Biden, even though they don't like either of them.
Right.
But the caveat being, if he's convicted and he's a felon, then I won't vote for him. A lot of those people seem to be turning around. They raised like $200 million in a few days from donations after that guilty verdict was given down. And the weird part is Donald Trump's sentencing is going to happen just a few days before the Republican National Convention, which is where he will be confirmed as the nominee to run for president. If he gets sentenced to jail time or even house arrest, he'll be in jail or at Mar-a-Lago while the convention to nominate him for the presidential candidate is happening in Milwaukee. I have never seen anything like that before in my life.
Yeah, it's strange. He joined TikTok this weekend, by the way.
Oh,
Donald Trump.
he did.
So, but which nothing screams, I want that young vote. Like, I'm going to join TikTok at, how the fuck old is he now?
Trump has got to be 60, late 60s, I think.
Okay. Great, fine. It's actually quite impressive, though, honestly. He announced it at UFC when he was there. He was there Saturday night, and his following blew up quite a bit, over 3.5 million followers. And his first TikTok, which was at UFC, basically talking about ending the war in Gaza and a whole bunch of other things that he said, hit 62 million views, like in the first 24 hours. So, like I said, like him or hate him, the numbers are impressive, and there's people who want to support him. That tells me you want to support him. I know some people viewed it just because they hate him, or they viewed it because they were curious. They viewed it because it popped up on their For You page, whatever the case is. However, 3.5 million follows in that amount of time is impressive.
Yeah, that's really good. Trump is now one of the ones who's promising to save TikTok if he's reelected. He originally wanted to get rid of TikTok because of the Chinese connection, but now he's actually in favor of preserving TikTok. It's the Democrats that want to get rid of it.
That's right.
Yeah, it's for another day. Let's talk about what's going on the ticket stream here.
Oh, God. Okay, so this was this first a report that came out early in the week last week? It was more like a report, but it was nothing official, but it still was like weird that nobody was talking about it, even at that point.
I heard it on Wednesday. And as of Friday, it is now no longer a rumor. Live Nation confirms a data breach of millions of customers' personal information. Live Nation, the parent company of Ticketmaster, confirmed it was the victim of a cyber attack, stolen, and now for sale on the dark web. Names, email addresses, phone numbers, addresses, credit card information, and more.
Yeah, that's not good.
Seriously? I mean, I understand that cybersecurity is of the utmost importance. It's a matter of national security. That being the case, why isn't this a criminal investigation right now? Hundreds of millions of people's credit card numbers are now on the dark web, and nobody is talking about it.
Yeah.
How is that possible? The cops should be involved. The FBI, CSIS, everybody. Figure out who did this. And how is Live Nation not in a ton of shit right now?
Yeah, I know. And the crazy thing is they're dealing with other things right now, other lawsuits or impending lawsuits.
The antitrust thing, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
They're being accused of having a monopoly. And frankly, I don't know how you argue that. And we'll talk about J-Lo in a second, because I think she's a great example of the monopoly that Live Nation and Ticketmaster has. But either way, so many hundreds of millions of people's info has been compromised. I would have thought at the absolute least, they would have immediately opened up an investigation. I mean, this is the kind of level where you expect to see like leaders out on TV saying, we know this happened. We're trying to figure out how it happened. In the meantime, change every password, maybe call the bank and put fraud alerts on your credit card. Like, there's so many different things that should be being done. But again, nobody is talking about this. And I don't get why. J-Lo has canceled her tour. Low ticket sales?
So here's the thing. No, not according to her. What do you want to actually go off of, though?
Okay. What do you think happened here before you tell us what she says happened here?
Oh, my gosh. I think it's tough because I think low ticket sales are the real reason why. But she's not going to say that. We know that she had to cancel some of them. First, before she even canceled them, around the same time, she renamed the tour. So for those who don't pay attention to J-Lo, she put out an album called This Is Me Now. She used to have this old album called This Is Me. So it's like, This Is Me Now. So all brand new songs, obviously. People don't really care to go see J-Lo and perform her new music, clearly, because ticket sales were low. So not only did she change the name of the tour, again, quietly, she didn't put out an big announcement. It just suddenly changed to This Is Me Live, the greatest hits, instead of This Is Me Now. So she realized, damn, I got to perform the Jenny from the Blocks. I got to perform all the old shit during this tour, or no one's going to buy tickets. And it's hard right now for a lot of artists. I get it. It's hard for people in general to want to buy them.
Any artist who's been around for a long time, and you probably hate this. I bet you fucking hate it. But this is the reality of it. Nobody is buying tickets to see Bon Jovi play their new songs.
No.
Nobody is buying tickets to see Madonna play her new music. Nobody's buying tickets to see Jennifer Lopez play her new music. You're going for the classics. And if you don't get the classics, you're not going to spend that kind of money on a ticket.
Yeah.
You said something interesting, though. There was a scenario where if she hadn't canceled the tour, she might have actually lost money on that.
Yes, so that was one of the reports, is that basically because her and her team had put money into it, and that is, by the way, usually what some artists do, right? It's not just like the label gives you all this shit ton of money to put on this show. It has to come from basically your account, just to use it in easy terms. Like, you have a budget of, this is how much I want to spend on it, and sometimes you make it back and then some, right? You put your money in, you get your money back times 10, tenfold, whatever, depending on how good your tour is, how good the ticket sales are. She put a lot of money into it, I guess, and looking ahead at all of these different tour stops, going, that doesn't break the bank. That doesn't even break even. This one won't even break even. Assuming that nobody else is going to buy tickets for it. That's why she scrapped the initial ones. And then I think just looking at it, if she's going to lose money, she's going to lose money. Now, again, let's just talk about what she did say, though. That's my feeling on it. I think that it probably was low ticket sales. But combined with the fact that we know that things aren't well at home, I'm going to use that. But she says she's heartsick and devastated. It's necessary to do right now. And she also added that she's going to spend more time. What's interesting is she doesn't talk about spending time with Ben Affleck necessarily. She says with family, her children, family, and close friends.
Oh. You'd think she'd specify her husband as well, if she specified the kids.
Well, she's not even addressing the whole thing.
Got it.
But they were seen together this weekend, not like a lovey PDA way, though. Like, there's obviously stuff going on. Like, we all know it. Like, they can't deny it at this point. They arrived to family things separate. They did like a weird air kiss instead of kissing each other. Like, things aren't great.
Got it.
Is she trying to actually mend it with this? Could she be? Maybe. Is this going to help? Maybe. Like, I don't really know. But what's weird is timing-wise, it doesn't make sense for her to be mending her relationship with Ben, because he's in the middle of filming The Accountant too.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a ton of time either. So why would you cancel a tour based on wanting to spend time with him when he's still quite busy, and apparently he's filming something this summer? So is it a you thing, or is it a him thing, or is it a both of you thing? And also, by the way, The Accountant's a great fucking movie, so I'm glad they're doing a second one. That's a side note. I don't know. I have a feeling it really is low ticket sales, and it's an embarrassing thing to say. Jennifer Lopez, doesn't want to come out and be like, nobody wants to hear me fucking sing anymore. She doesn't want to make that announcement. So for her to say she wants to spend more time and slow down with family and friends, that's easier. That's an easier pill for her to swallow.
Yeah.
Knowing that people don't realize the truth.
I think J-Lo figured, yeah, you know what? I've been doing this as long as Beyonce has. I can go out and do a world tour too. And maybe I can't do stadiums, but I can do a world tour. Not really, J-Lo. No, you belong on a tour with a couple of other artists.
And her residency did well. I think there was nothing wrong with doing a residency. She should go back to that, because then J-Lo fans will come to you. It's Vegas. Like, they're going to come to you.
You can sell 5,000 tickets a night in Vegas a lot easier than you can sell 20,000 in different cities across America. But if there was a scenario where she was going to lose money, I think that goes back to the Ticketmaster and Live Nation thing. I'm glad they're doing this antitrust investigation, because I'd like to know how much control they have over these shows and how much money are they making per show. Mm-hmm. You know, they're nickel and diming us for service fees for this and charges for that. I'd love to know if J-Lo does a show at Scotiabank Arena, 18,000 people. How much is she making, and how much is Live Nation making off that show? Because I'm wondering really if maybe Live Nation is just a cash cow and artists just don't have another choice because Live Nation's the only business in the game, really.
Yeah. I mean, you're bang on when we talk about it. Transparency is key, but they're not giving it to us.
They're about as transparent as Loblaw.
Here's the problem, though, is that We should all be rebelling against that. We should demand the transparency. And it sucks that it would suffer at the hands of the artists because we don't want to. We want to support the artists for sure. But if we band together and don't buy through Ticketmaster, etc., they'll have no choice but to make changes. You know what I mean? But again, I don't want to shortchange artists. I don't want them to get screwed over with that movement, but it could change things in the future to have them making more money as opposed to having Live Nation and such. But again, we need to know those numbers in order to decide what to do.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I look at the price of some of these tickets and I think, like, did parents just forget how to say no? You know, I get that most kids would love to go and see Taylor Swift, or there's millions of kids that would love to do it. But when the nosebleeds are $800 a ticket, and you're still tripping all over yourself to try and get tickets? The answer is no. Yeah. Taylor's young. She's probably got 5 or 6 more world tours in her. Then it'll be the casino shows and the Vegas residency. You're not missing anything. If you have to say, you know what? At $800 a ticket, I'm not going to the fucking Eras tour.
Right.
Stop.
You don't have to.
Stop paying these ridiculous fees, everybody. It's crazy.
I know.
Even if you have the money. It's ridiculous to spend $800 on 2.5 hours of entertainment.
I do agree with that.
It's completely obnoxious.
I agree. And on that note, while we're talking about how much money people make or don't make right now, the movie theaters aren't too hot.
No, they're getting...
I'm wondering. Okay, so here's what
Do you want to buy a movie theater? I have a feeling they're going to be up for sale soon. We should buy a theater.
We already have ads running in some of them, you and me. By the way, all summer we do.
Great that nobody's fucking seeing.
That's the thing is like now, in time for nobody to see it, there's big Scott and Cat Show promotions happening at a lot of movie theaters. You guys might see it if you go see a movie this weekend. And by all means, there's some movies people are looking forward to. And I think about the Deadpools and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking at this weekend. I have got my eye on this. So we'll talk about it if it becomes a thing. But the Bad Boys franchise, typically... massive one at the theaters, like massive. It's always number one sometimes for weeks. We know some shit went down with Will Smith. Some people aren't as excited about it in general. We know that times are tough. And again, this weekend, let me just give you some, nothing was new this weekend. But that said, the top 3 movies only made $30 million in total. It's a slow start. And I'm wondering, they assume that this movie is going to make domestically only $55 to $75 million. I think it's going to be closer to the 50. I think.
Yeah.
So we'll circle back and we'll let you know. But this used to be one of those big things, like it dominates, like 70 million easy opening weekend. I don't think there's a lot of movies who can do that anymore, other than your offsets, other than your offshoots, like your Barbies, your Deadpools, Beetlejuice that's coming out this year. There's a lot toward the end of the year. I think they're going to do well, without a doubt, because people will see it no matter what. But when people have to pick and choose, like with concerts, and now like with movies as well, you're going to be pickier. That's just the way it's going to go.
Okay, let's run through a couple of quick things to get it on your radar before we wrap things up and get to the replay of missed connections. Thursday is the earliest a strike by the Canada Border Services Agency could begin. 90% of frontline CBSA officers are designated essential, meaning they cannot strike. But PSAC, the Public Service Alliance of Canada,
always makes me giggle,
could use other tactics, they say, to snarl traffic and cause delays for travelers crossing the border. They're trying out mediation today. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know. But they got to fix this. We called the Emergencies Act when trucks couldn't get over the border. Mm-hmm. Apparently, this critical infrastructure may not be harmed. And if they are not at the CBSA legally allowed to strike, then that means no strike. It means business as usual. There shouldn't be any daylight here where they can say, all right, well, we're not allowed to strike, but we are allowed to take 20 minutes between cars. It's a work to rule or something like that. We cannot have any of our borders delayed like that. And this is airport too. What, are they going to hold up an entire flight?
Yeah, they could.
They better not.
I mean, that totally.
But you know what? When I say better not, I'm not specifically talking to the CBSA. I don't know what the issues are here. I'm also talking to the federal government. Fix the fucking problem before there's a strike here, guys.
Fix it.
The encampments are still up at the U of T, and the court will not hear the case about removing them until June 19th. However, starting today, more than 30 different commencement or convocations are planned through June 21st. The university says all events are planned to proceed, but with extra cautions. I don't know what extra cautions they can do. Or are they going to have people come in the back door?
Yeah.
What are you guys going to do? You got all kinds of fucking stuff all over your lawn here, guys. Maybe you should clean up the mess here. U of T is, oh shit, we can't do anything until the court comes in. It's private property. Clear them out. Tell the cops you want them gone. If you want them gone. And I'm really not sure that they do. The Bank of Canada is going to announce its interest rate decision on Wednesday morning amid speculation that the central bank might start to cut interest rates. On balance, financial markets are expecting the bank to cut its key lending rate by a 1/4 point. Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem says his decision will be guided by economic data. Oh, I forgot. That son of a bitch, Tiff Macklem says his decision will be guided by economic data. You know, I'll admit, I think that one of the biggest scoundrels in Canada is Tiff Macklem. In fact, one of the things we're just learning today is the Bank of Canada, whose one and only job in Canada is to keep inflation in the rate, under 2% or whatever it is, in the sweet spot there.
Right.
That's their one and only job, is to control inflation. They screwed it all up, and that's why everybody's paying such high interest rates. Mm-hmm. Do you know they gave themselves $23 million in bonuses last year? Bank of Canada executives who have, by any metric, shit the bed at work, gave themselves $23 million in bonuses. By the way, since 2020, when this really started to get out of control, $78 million paid in bonuses to the bankers of the Bank of Canada. But in this case, I actually don't know what they're going to do. And let me tell you why. People need relief. They got to cut these rates because people can't do it. But the Americans are not ready to start cutting rates. And if we cut our rates before the Americans cut theirs, what's going to happen? The Canadian dollar is going to take a shit. And while that...
It's already kind of dripping shit, isn't it?
It's below 73 cents right now.
It's already dripping shit.
And we could be at a 50-cent dollar if the Bank of Canada cuts much faster than the Americans do. And I pick your poison. What's worse, the higher interest rates or a really, really, really bad Canadian dollar? Like, it's not going to be the peso, but it's certainly not going to be the American dollar. We're going to be somewhere in between. And that affects everybody because most of what gets imported to Canada is imported in American dollars.
Right. So that will still raise rates of a lot of things, or prices of a lot of things, I should say.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if right now your Burger King Whopper combo is $15 and you hate that, and it's all blamed on inflation, okay, well, inflation might go down, but if they import any of that from the States at a 50-cent dollar, it's going to cost even more. Yeah. So I really don't know what they're going to do here. I don't feel bad for Tiff Macklem. He's a fucking asshole. But I feel bad that this is the scenario because it really is a pick your poison kind of thing.
And that's probably why, if you guys have heard anybody giving their opinion on it who know a thing or two about it, whether it's someone in, real estate, somebody in investments, whatever it is, everyone's guessing a little differently, I find. They don't all agree, which makes this week a more interesting one. In the past several months, it's been very obvious. Like, everyone's like, nah, they're not. No, they're not. This I've heard, yeah, maybe a little bit. This one, it's more like on the fence. Like, some people are like, probably not. Other people are like, maybe only by like a quarter. So I'm curious to see what Wednesday brings.
Okay. Got to blow through some sports here, and then we got to go because the replay is coming up. RBC Canadian Open.
Yeah.
I love the RBC Canadian Open.
So many people I know went to that, by the way.
And this is the thing. I had no idea. Maybe these aren't even golf fans that go, but I'm going through my Facebook and Instagram timelines this weekend. It was crazy how many people I saw at the Open. And I'm like, are they at golf? I didn't even know they like golf. I just wonder if maybe it's becoming the trendy thing to do. And that could have to do a lot with the concerts that they've got going on. I mean, Thursday night, Loud Luxury and Frank Walker playing outdoors over the patio at the 18th hole.
That's awesome. By the way, they did the right thing by inviting Loud Luxury and paying them whatever they paid.
Our Lady Peace was there on Friday. They did a country concert on Saturday. Maybe all of that helps. But over 125,000 people were at the Canadian Open this weekend. That's a lot of people, and makes me wonder, why don't we do more PGA events in Canada? If there's this much demand for it and people are loving it. And by the way, 125,000 people is nothing at a sports event when it's on a golf course and it's spread out and you're not sitting shoulder to shoulder or elbow to elbow with people spilling your beer and spilling popcorn on you and trying to start fights. What a perfect place to watch a professional sporting event.
Yeah, I think so.
You can never get any closer to the action than at a golf event.
They have so many sponsors too. It's how it usually goes with these kinds of events. And for some reason, I guess maybe it's just because it's in Canada. And it's close to us, right? I mean, it's relatively close to us. So that's why we hear a little bit more about it. But when you look at the amount of sponsorship, all of them usually included in it are going to get a handful of tickets too. So it's like between all those sponsors and the people I know that either work there or know someone who worked there, those are the ones that I know that got tickets. But by all means, it looked like a fun time. So great. Yeah, more of that. Justice and injustice is how we will end it. Justice is Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and everybody else on the Edmonton Oilers. Who's the guy? Zach Hyman, another former Maple Leaf. Yeah. He's going to get a shot at a Stanley Cup. The Edmonton Oilers beat Dallas in 6 games. They advance to the Stanley Cup final. They will take on the Florida Panthers. There are 4,100 kilometers between Edmonton, Alberta, and Sunrise, Florida. It is the longest travel distance between Stanley Cup final opponents in NHL history. And I'm here for it. Yes. I want you know what? I'm going to Connor McDavid wins one just so that he can then come to Toronto. You did your thing in Edmonton. They don't need you anymore. You can move on. His contract's got to be up soonish. No? Am I just dreaming about that? Now let's talk about injustice in hockey. The Memorial Cup format must change. Must. No more host exemption. No more, we're hosting, so we get to be in it. Fuck you. That's stupid, by the way. Totally stupid. That's dumb. I just ended that for the Canadian University Lacrosse League. I'm the commissioner of that league, and I just said we're not doing that shit anymore. Can you step into the OHL then? Can you just can you set a meeting with them and set them straight? I am uniquely qualified to do that job if they want to give me a call. I will tell you, though, that, hey, listen, all season long, the London Knights were completely dominant. Mm-hmm. They killed everybody. It was easy. They made it look easy, I should say. They made it look easy because they're good. They beat a lot of great hockey teams, and throughout the regular season, not too many people were looking at the Saginaw Spirit thinking, oh, there's a team to worry about. They weren't. Well, then we get to the Memorial Cup, and London goes undefeated in the round robin portion. For those who don't know, the Memorial Cup, the national version, so you get an OHL team, Ontario Hockey League, the Quebec League, and the Western League. They all send their champions plus the host, and that's your 4-team tournament for the Memorial Cup. Well, it's fucking dumb because the Knights killed everybody in round robin, got a bye through the semis, so they were set to play yesterday in the championship. Again, undefeated at the tournament. Saginaw managed to get through by beating some of the other dog shit teams. They're not dog shit, but I mean, it wasn't even close this year. Some years it's great. This year it wasn't. Yeah. And anyway, they get there and they end up playing Saginaw, a regular OHL match for the Memorial Cup Championship. Saginaw got out to a 3-0 lead. London fought back and tied it. Saginaw scores with 20 seconds left. They didn't beat London once until the championship game. Well, I mean, but if you think about a lot of different ways that things are set up, even in the NHL, I find that to be messed up. When you look at the different, when you look at East and West and all the different space. Listen, I know I'm coming from a Leafs fan perspective, but I mean, sometimes all the setup for that isn't fair either. No. You know? But at least it's a best of 5 or a best of 7 or something like that. Yeah, that needs to be fixed. If this was a best of 7, it would be over in 5 games because London would beat them 4 more times in a row, as they did all season long. Yeah, you're right. So I do feel bad for Easton Cowan, a Leafs prospect who's the star on London, and a bunch of other players that are, especially those retiring players. This was their shot at a memorial, and it didn't happen. It did, but it didn't. It sucks. We got to go, everybody. We will leave you with the replay of today's Missed Connections, and we will catch you right back here tomorrow. Enjoy.
Missed Connections. Missed Connections on the Scott and Kat Show.
You know, Kat, we do have a lot of new listeners discovering the station every single day, and we appreciate that. So we should probably tell everyone what's going on here.
Oh, yeah. This is called Missed Connections.
And this is where we go through all the stories of people looking for someone else, and they can't find them, so they tell the story online, hoping the other person will see it and contact them. We bring them to you every week right here.
This is called You and Your Kitty. It was a beautiful spring Sunday, and I was walking downtown. Everything was closed but the cafe, so I headed in that direction. Honestly, I think I was half asleep, but I do believe I saw what I saw. You had a cat, more the size of a medium dog. sitting on your lap, chillin'. I did a double take because this was no ordinary dog-sized cat. It had a baseball hat on with little cutouts for his ears.
What?
Honestly, I thought the barista put something in my drink. It was surreal. But oddly, I also can't stop thinking about you, cat lady. What do you feed that thing? Does it go everywhere with you? Was it eating a scone, or were my eyes once again deceiving me? Can cats even eat scones? Can they? Reach out here, or I might try the cafe again next Sunday.
Yeah, because you never know. You might run into this lady with an obnoxiously large cat who apparently eats regular coffee shop type food. I've seen a big cat before. I get the impression this is bigger than a big cat. It seems he said a medium-sized dog.
A medium-sized dog? Have you ever seen a cat that big? I mean, I've seen some big cats, but I don't think I've ever been like, wow, is that a German Shepherd? Or I guess is that German Shepherd or a cat? Or like, what is that? Is that a Sheltie or is that a cat?
No, me either. But I'm not surprised that this person takes that cat with her to places like a cafe on a Sunday morning. That seems like a good place to go with your obnoxiously large cat.
It's so they don't wreck things while you're not home. That's why you
Probably.
bring ones like that with you. Jumping up on a counter, knocking over just about everything.
It pounces when I open the door, so I just take it with me.
You should see my couch. It's barely there anymore. All the threads have been pulled off it.
I guess if you do have a cat that's that big, it's nothing wrong with giving it a scone here and there. Why not? Have at it, kitty.
Are they allowed? Details. It's fine. This is called What Just Happened. I'd like to know the same thing. This is weird. I saw a sexy woman at the taco and tequila bar on Friday night. She was with a couple girlfriends, pounding some shots, taking advantage of that Jose Cuervo 2-for-1 special. I wasn't trying to be a creep, but I followed her to the bathroom area.
Oh, that's pretty creepy.
That's the opposite of what you were going for, by the way.
Oh, that's not what you were trying to do?
Not trying to be creepy, but I followed you. Honestly, I was worried, considering she tripped over herself several times on the way, so I was just trying to be gentlemanly. This place only had 6 unisex individual bathrooms, so I waited a bit. I heard some odd noises coming from the stall that she was in, and a weird coo-coo sound. I think it was coming from her mouth. Coo-coo!
Was she playing guns in there? Pew, pew, pew. And you just misunderstood?
When she stumbled out, I can't get it out of my mind. She leaned over to me and said, "Hey, Jack, mind the mess, but it's there." And then she walked away.
Oh.
Slurring her words, she turned around again. Just when I was about to ask her what, she said, "Sheila's got the money," and gave me a really weird blink. I think it was supposed to be a wink. I was confused, and it only got worse when I stepped inside the bathroom.
Uh-oh.
I am not Jack, to be clear. When I went in that bathroom, I saw a singular goldfish swimming in the toilet. WTF, WTF, exclamation point. I didn't know whether to flush it or find a glass. More importantly, where did that come from and where were you hiding it? What was the cuckoo noise?
That's the sound you make when you release a goldfish into the toilet.
What money? And who is Jack? And who is Sheila? Attempting to solve the mystery, I left the bathroom area, trying to find a staff member for the fish and trying to find you for questions. But when I left and entered the dining area to inform staff, she was gone and her table was cleared.
Wow. What happened to this lady? Why was there a fish? What
Where
was the
was the
noise?
fish?
Where was the fish being
A coo!
concealed? Maybe that's what that noise was.
Woo! That was in there for hours. Thank God. Feel much better. I mean, you'd probably have a lot of tequila shots if you had a goldfish there too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else makes that better other than a couple shots of tequila.
Thank God you're here, Jack. That feels so much better.
And is he interested in pursuing a relationship with the fish lady, the cuckoo lady?
It's your turn to find Nemo now, Jack. It's your turn. I've been looking with Dory, but Dory and I can't find Nemo. Have a nice night. Have you tried this tequila? It's really good.